Alright, thank you very much. Hello everybody, it's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back in action with another look at an old movie. Now, you'll notice that this is a movie review. This is not a forgotten classic, because as much as I enjoyed this movie, The Keep really doesn't fit into the category of forgotten classic. But it was a good movie. I liked it. I know it was a box office flop. It's definitely a niche movie. It's either something you are really gonna like or really not gonna like, because it was kind of far out there. You know, you basically have a movie about this small area in Europe where there's a little Scandinavian town, no big deal. The Nazis decide they're going to come and they're going to occupy it, okay? They meet the caretaker of this place called the Keep. It's inside a mountain. It looks like a fortress. There's something interesting about this fortress, though. It's built backwards. The little, weaker rocks are on the outside, and the bigger, heavier rocks are on the inside, and it's surrounded by crosses made of nickel, even though some of the soldiers believe it's actually silver and that there's hidden treasure in there. So naturally, the soldiers decide when everybody's asleep, maybe it's time to do some treasure hunting, only to discover to their horror that the Keep was trying to keep something in, not let something get out, something that they realize early in the movie. Now, the movie also stars one of my favorite actors from that time period, Scott Glenn, who is basically, he's trying to be the nameless man of few words, you know, strong man who doesn't talk very much, and you know, can really is more of a danger to you than you could ever be to him, type of thing. Also, he's got the glowing eyes that freak people out and all of that. What's funny is they try to make him mysterious, dark, but in the end, it just comes off as kind of bland. And believe me, this was bland even for that time period. You know, this is 1983, so obviously they got kind of the, you know, they want to do more of the spiritual guy who doesn't talk very much, kind of like the Kung Fu with David Carradine kind of person. But here he comes off as too pale, too shallow, and, you know, not very interesting as he could have been. One interesting thing about this movie, you ever watch Mystery Science Theater 3000? You know that joke that you play sometimes where they see somebody and they're like, hey, that guy looks like somebody else? Like when you first see the movie start, there's a guy who, when I first see him, I immediately thought Jim Caviezel. There's another guy I saw, and I thought, ooh, that must be Ian McKellen, you know, kind of a joke. Well, in that case, the joke was on me. It really was Ian McKellen. You know, this is 1983, so this was well before X-Men. That's when I first really... I've seen him in other movies, but Ian McKellen was never really Ian McKellen until the X-Men. For me, that is. I mean, he's a great actor, been around, done scores of great work, so I can't really say he did bad. I'm just saying I've never noticed him. So when I first see this guy, and, you know, they dress him up, you know, like he was older, so I thought, you know, oh, Magneto, Ian McKellen. Then they make him look younger, and it was, of course, a younger Ian McKellen, because this was 1983 and everything. And that was the interesting part of the movie, that he was in it, and he did a good job in it. Now, the point of the story, and believe it or not, I haven't gotten to the point yet, was that you have these two men. You have Scott Glenn's character, who is there to seal the Keep and prevent the monster from getting out. And then you have Ian McKellen's character as a Jewish doctor that wants to see the monster out and released, so that he can destroy the Nazis and everything. I won't show you the monster. That is just pure 80s cheese. They tried. Okay, but let's face it, it was the 80s. They did the best they could with what they had. I didn't think we were going to see the monster. When we saw the monster, I couldn't believe that, well, that was the monster. But okay, it didn't bother me that much. I know that the way they handled the monster bothered a lot of people. So, and remember, even though this was an 80s movie, it was set in the 1940s, like 1941, I believe it is, or am I confusing that with a different movie? But anyway, this is set in the 1940s, and you know, the Nazis invading, the Nazis are taking over and all that, and they have a good SS, and you've got this interesting switcheroo where you have like this SS guy who's a real monster, because let's face it, Nazis are one thing, but the SS, they were a monster all in themselves, because they just felt they had ultimate power. They could do anything. They feared nothing because they thought nobody would ever do anything to insult them or to anger them or anything like that. And so now you have these two real monsters, and one monster comes off as sort of a savior, but does he have ulterior motives? Well, that is what this movie is supposed to really talk about. And that's actually the problem with The Keep. Now, when I saw The Keep, I saw it on Netflix because the movie was being taken off the streaming. However, if you ever watch this movie, and I do give it a see it, but make sure you like this kind of movie. Supernatural. Not so much fantasy, but definitely supernatural. Historical, kind of. But the point is, this movie was not complete when I saw it. When I was done, I went on IMDb, wanted to learn more about it. This one guy had this amazing post of all the stuff that was cut out. You know? Like there's a caretaker for The Keep, and I cannot speak for some reason. The caretaker for The Keep, he's only introduced once. But he had other roles. You know, he had more important parts. There were parts where he was talking with the priest. There were parts what happened to him at the end of the movie. There's this other aspect of The Keep that was introduced but never taken to its full glory. And that was when the Keep was open and as the monster was growing stronger, the Keep revealed more of your true nature, more of your evil nature. And people started to get really, really bad. So Nazis, I'm sure, got worse. Villagers just started going crazy. Spoiler alert, you don't get to see any of it. Or at least I didn't. Not in my version of The Keep, I should say. From what I'm understanding, The Keep, was made back in 1983. Maybe they released it, but they had to censor it. Then, over time, they were able to bring some stuff back. Then they had to take some stuff away. There is some sex and nudity, so obviously television censor, you got to add some stuff here, remove some stuff there. In the end of the day, The Keep becomes this mixed bag of what was kept and what was left. And now there's no complete movie anymore. It's a question of what was on the cutting room floor, what was renewed, what was thrown out altogether, and we don't know anymore. In the end, read the book, I guess. People who love the book hate the movie. Go figure. But that said, this is one of those things that I felt disappointed about when they took out so much. And, they went for the 90 minutes. They could have added an extra 5 just to give us a little bit more detail, a little bit more substance to their style. And it would have meant more than when Scott Glenn pulled out a stick. You'll understand if you ever see this movie. And I do recommend seeing it. It's great for the 80s special effects. It's great for the 80s nostalgia, and it was an okay movie in my opinion. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't. That's why I still give it a see it, but you'll have to decide for yourself ultimately if it's right for you. Alright guys, that's it for me today. We'll see you at the theaters.